Hey everybody, we're back for another exciting about 30 minutes with Lauren Szuchan from SourceWhale. I have been watching Lauren on LinkedIn. I'm following her stuff. I see she just got promoted. I reached out and we made it work. Literally spontaneous, but I'm so excited to have her with us today. So Lauren, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great. We just realized you spent time in Raleigh for all those years, right? And like literally we're down the street from one another talking about how damn cold it is right now in North Carolina. So, we're both inside, both warm, but good to spend some time together.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so I want to dive into this, right? Because we were talking about before we hit the record button here of like really where to go, and you have so much to offer. And I think there's a lot that we can get into. But looking at your story, I love the idea. You started off at Red Bull, literally grassroots sales in a territory, working it and just learning it. And I would love to just kind of hear that job and that whole piece, that entry to sales, kind of what it provided you. And like, do you still take something from that with you, all these years later?
Yeah. It was kind of funny how I got into Red Bull. I was on the wings team in college, like driving the little Mini Cooper, handing out Red Bull, all of that. Like that was kind of how I got introduced to it. But post college, I really actually enjoyed the brand and like the product and just like kind of the idea of working full time in the role itself was super exciting. So a position came open, kind of dove into that, and I really like it was like my early 20s, and I was kind of like, gosh, like I don't know what I want to do with my career. And it just kind of fell into place where I was beginning to realize like how much I actually enjoy just like talking to people and going to my accounts and like managing this account list. And I was responsible for, upselling like new SKUs and like getting cool. I was selling directly to restaurant and bar owners, and hotels, but like hospitality in general. So just like getting marketing placements and things like that. So it was like a sales role, but more on the account management side. And so I really got a feel for just like kind of developing relationships and selling as a whole. Um, and I loved it. So, but I wasn't like, it wasn't a commission role. Like it was just
Mhm.
like salary based, like you go around, have a certain goal or KPIs to hit, and it was just salary. So like I was just beginning to feel like after I did it for a few years, I was like, I feel like I have more potential. Like I was a top performer at Red Bull, like, finished, always like exceeded my KPIs and everything. And I was like, I feel like I could go into like an actual like tech sales role and I have like more to offer. So that was kind of like, I guess, how I got into it with Red Bull and just sales in general.
Yeah, like when you went from that salary role into a base and commission, any hesitation? Was there any like, little butterflies there going, all right, wait a second. It's one thing to be, it's one thing to do well when I'm on salary and if I have a bad month or whatever, that's great. I still get my salary. Now I'm going into like, hey, this is real deal. This impacts my pay. Was there any bit of that in your brain as you make that jump?
Oh, absolutely. I actually like mapped out, I made like an Excel sheet and I calculated like dollar for dollar, like comparing. Because I had, when I was with Red Bull, like they gave me a company car and I had a lot of perks that kind of
Hmm.
added up beyond like my salary.
Hmm.
And so I had to sit there and calculate like dollar for dollar, like, okay, worst case scenario, like if this commission job doesn't work out, like, will I make enough to pay my bills and like be okay? And I was like terrified going into a commission role. And like people warned me too. They were like, you have to be really careful. Like people get into this stuff, they're overpromise, like, they don't hit their numbers, OTE, all of that. And yeah, I was like super scared. I was like very diligent with like everything, kind of do my research and whatnot. But yeah, was terrified.
I mean, but you also changed. I'm going to skip. I don't know. I want to fast forward here a little bit, but I was in recruiting for 10 years, and my job was to take people out of one role and put them into another, right? That was what I was paid for. But at the same time, it's still, and I never downplayed this to the people I was working with who were, taking those roles was it is a life changing thing. Like they say, I want to say the three most stressful things in life. I know one's getting married. I know one almost positive is changing jobs. And I think it's either a birth or like buying a house, right? Like,
Mhm.
having a kid, like, but two of the three are pretty much like, like in line here in terms of, the profession and kind of what you do. I mean, but you've done it very, very successfully over what I would say is a shorter amount of time, 5, 6 years. You've
Mhm.
done it and you've done very well. Do you ever still have those butterflies? Do you ever still get those nerves like looking at this going, hey, I know I'm good for this role. I know I want to challenge myself more. I know I want to do this, but you know, it's a new ICP, it's a new market, it's a new technology, whatever it is. Do you ever still have those thoughts?
For sure. Like, I mean, yeah, this being like since Red Bull, this being fast forward my third sales org now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, every time I make a move, I am just like, I'm very like diligent in doing my research and making sure like everything adds up and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely scary. Although I will say I'm a risk averse person, but I'm very much so less risk averse when it comes to job, like find like taking a leap with my career and like taking a risk there.
Mhm.
I like a new challenge. Like if I get stuck in, like if I'm doing the same thing over and over and over and over day in and day out, like I just get bored and I love a new challenge. So like the idea of going to a new org and being able to like take my skills and apply them and just like learn a new product and like build it up and crush it is exciting to me. So it's definitely scary when you go from being like a top performer and then you start at a new org and you're like the new person that like nobody knows. It's just like, okay, now you have to prove yourself all over
You're like,
again.
who's she?
Yeah.
Great.
It's just such a different vibe to be
Yeah.
at an organization where people like
Yep.
know your name, they know like your credibility and all of
Sure.
that. And then you go to this new organization, and they're just like, just another name. And you have to like create the name for yourself.
Yep. Yep.
So like that part's tough, but it's just like so rewarding to come out on the other side and like work hard and like be able to take your same skills and apply it to a new org and like you learn so much along the way.
Yeah.
But definitely scary, yeah.
Yeah. No, but you said you did your research. And I think for a lot of folks out there, you know, there's a lot online. There's a lot of stats online, what you can believe and what you can't. There's some good websites that are obviously, crowdsourced in terms of data. But for you, looking at your research, like at a new org, and you've just gotten there, so I'm not saying you're leaving, but what I'm saying is when you looked at your current work, what did you look at? Like what sort of things went into your mind and say, yes, I'm going. That hits the box with me.
hmm Well, I had a friend when I made the most recent change. I had a friend at this organization who was like definitely vouching for like kind of feeling it out and making
Yeah.
sure everything was good. Because it's a smaller company. Like we have now, I think around like 100 people. But
Nice.
that was exactly what I was looking for. Like I wanted a small organization where I feel like I can make a big impact, like really help grow the team, make a
Mhm.
difference. Like I just like the feel of being in a smaller organization. So it's what I was looking for. And she was there for a while and she said, great things about it. But of course, like just during like I think the conversations you have, like when you're interviewing, like asking the right questions. But I guess I feel like I have a kind of a good read for people and like I can kind of get a sense of like genuine versus like just saying certain things. So talking to, of course, like people during the interview process, but then just doing my own research outside of it. Like love RepView. And then just
Mhm.
using like a number of resources, reaching out to people on LinkedIn. But yeah, having like a friend at a company is always helpful for having like the real inside scoop.
It's, I mean, again, I'm going back to my recruiting days, but I would always talk to companies and go, look, you hire an A player, they bring A players with them. They know other A players, right? And that's kind of, and on the flip side, if you're an A player let's face it, some companies have C plus players, and I don't want to be around C plus players. I want to surround myself with other A players, and
Mhm.
that's kind of how you build a really good team is, hey man, who do you know? Because your network, for the person that you just hired if you get in that first 90 days, 120 days, if I'm them, if I'm your current employer and I'm hiring, the first thing I'm doing is coming to my top folks and going, who do you know?
Yeah.
Who's good? Who do you know? Who would you recommend? Let's start
Hmm.
there and go from there. Right.
Hmm.
So I think that is, it makes perfect sense in terms of, kind of that piece. But you were just promoted, what, last month, 2 months ago, like recently, right? You got a new title, senior AE,
Yeah.
like quickest in the company, like literally.
Hmm.
So if you had to put something on that, why did you have that success so quick? What allowed you to really, I mean, look, I mean, it's all great to come in and make a name. You came
Hmm.
in and made a name, got promoted, which is awesome. But what allowed you to hit that mark so quick?
Good question. I would say like a number of factors. I think just the biggest thing is like being confident, like truly. I really feel like that is one thing that's just like when you get on a call and don't get me wrong, like when I move to a new organization, like I am absolutely putting in my time at the beginning, like working a ton of hours. Like I want to become an expert as quick as possible and like really understand the product, like the problem we solve for, the pain points, like our solution, all of that. And then just like getting on calls and like having that confidence when you're talking with people about like this product is going to literally change your business is people just absorb that, right? And so that's definitely one part of it is just like the confidence of being confident about your product, yourself, all of that. Um, and I think just like, I mean, one thing that's definitely helps is just like I'm always asking for the sale and setting next steps. Like I think a lot of people stray from like kind of back down from asking, like just like getting on a call and be like, great, let's get started. And I would say like at the end of every single call, I'm either saying like, awesome, let's get started. Like, even though it's the first call we've been on, because I'm like, you've seen the product, like, is it going to work or not? You know?
Yeah.
Or I'm like, okay, like if you have more questions or we need clarity or anything else, like I'm setting up a call for like the next day or 2 days
Mhm.
later. Like I just
Mhm.
like keep things moving.
Yeah.
Um, that's like two things that come to mind, I guess.
That's perfect. I think the confidence piece, it's look, I think setting next steps, yes, and you asking for the sale 100%. The first thing that came to your mind though was your mindset. And anybody who's listened to this for any amount of time will know that I go hard on this. I think if your mind is in the right place, then okay, you can be successful, right? And that's confidence in your product, your confidence in your team around you, confidence in your own ability, right? In terms of that. And then everything else follows, right? But if your mind is off, either from like the personal stuff we all deal with at home or just I don't know, a bad day, or we all go into those little like the self-doubt things that creep in. You're
Totally.
in a slump and all of a sudden like nothing goes right. And that's not
Hmm.
reality. Reality is it is going right. You just view it
Hmm.
as it's not, right?
Yeah.
But the first thing you went to is your confidence. And I think that's so important, especially for young folks, or I shouldn't say young folks. I should say folks that are new into a role, any job. I mean, because in my opinion, you came in as AE, you now senior. It could be for a sales director, VP. I think it's the same thing.
Hmm.
That mindset is still the number one thing that's going to give you success,
Hmm.
right? So it's cool that you said that off the back. I think that's where my mind went, was your mind, right? How
Yeah.
is my mind on this? How's day one? Day one's scary for anybody. I don't care, what it is, right? So
Yeah. And I think that comes from like repetition too, of like, okay, I've been doing this for, you know, 40 something months straight of like quota, right?
yep.
And I know, like I used to really struggle with that. Like when I sold at my very first organization, like I'd have like a bad week or I'd be having a bad month and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like I've held, 10 calls or 10 demos in a row and like nothing's closing. And like, did I just suddenly forget how to sell? And it's just like, no. I'd have to like catch myself on that because
Yeah,
you will convince yourself like suddenly you just forgot all your sales skills and
a
you just
hundred percent.
can't sell. Which I do think there's like some part to that. Like we can get in these sales slumps
Mm-hmm.
and start changing things and like actually screwing up like our
Yep.
calls
Yep.
unintentionally. So like, I think there's some merit to that. But I think we can really get in our heads and just be like, oh my gosh, like I suck at selling, like whatever it is. And then you get in this mindset and then you're going into these calls like desperate, right? Because you're like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, like I just need to close this
Yeah.
deal so bad. And so I think one thing that's been like big for me is I learned that pretty early on. Like I used to like get in these slumps, which happens to literally everybody, where you're just
Hmm.
like nothing's closing and then suddenly everything starts closing. But I get into these slumps and I just had to learn like this is going to happen. It will eventually end. Like you'll come out of it and things will start closing again. And so I think like that was one big thing. And then just like knowing that that happens and like I always come out on the better side of things and like successful.
Yeah.
It's just like I can confidently sell, like knowing like that is literally just part of sales.
Yep.
And we're all gonna have like our bad days, our bad weeks, our bad months, whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But just having the confidence that like you're not actually a bad seller, you're just having a bad day.
Now, so what you said was a few things, right? One is, yeah, like I always tell, folks I work with, hey, like you didn't go to sleep and like, lose, like magically lose your sales skills, right? Like you still have
Exactly.
them. They're still there,
Hmm. Hmm.
but they may need, like sometimes you get bad habits, they creep in and we have to go back and watch film or listen and, say, okay, let's tweak something.
Yeah.
But I'm always a big believer too in you need like a battle buddy. You need a buddy to kind of boost you up sometimes, right? Because you can boost yourself up. Yeah, cool. But you know what? You need someone on your team to just go, hey, I, I need you now, right? Like I need
Hmm.
someone to talk to. Like, and it's
Hmm.
not, it can be like your manager, director, like whatever you call, but that other AE who's also battling with you is so helpful in my opinion, right? If you
Hmm.
form those relationships and it's hard, you know, working remote, for a lot of us out there, it's still there. You still need that person. That
Hmm.
person's got to be with you. And that's where that team, sales is not an individual sport. You learn from the people around you. And I'm sure when you came on, it was like, hey, look, I need to pick your brain. Like I need some help here. And of course, those people are willing and
Hmm.
able to give it to you. So, anytime I get to a slump, I'm going to my person and going, all right, just tell me I'm not crazy. Tell me, give me something here. So,
Hmm.
is
Yeah.
that for you? And you mentioned like repetition and just keeping sharp, or you alluded to it. How do you do that? How do you keep sharp in terms of just improving or just making sure those bad habits don't creep in?
I love feedback.
Okay.
Like I genuinely, that was like I was when I first came in to like SourceWhale, like my most recent company, I was
Hmm.
just like very hungry for feedback. And I report directly to my VP of sales, who's amazing, and he's just like an awesome coach. And I was constantly going to him being like, I need like help me with this or like listen to this call or whatever. And we would do it weekly. And he would just like kind of go through and tell me like this is great. Here's where I think you're like tripping yourself up or like you're overcomplicating things or whatever it is. And that I have learned so much from him in just a short amount of time. And I feel like I've always like generally speaking understood like sales and psychology behind it and just like human nature and all of that. So like it's helped me in my career, but I think he's like really taught me so much. And so I would just say like just getting feedback and being open to feedback and being super coachable makes a huge difference. But actually like applying it because a lot of us like to like, oh, like give me feedback and it's like awesome. And are you actually like going and applying, the feedback? So that's one thing that's been really
Yeah.
helpful for me, like just kind of perfecting things and like getting my footwork correct and all of that.
Has that always been the case for you? I mean, was there ever a time? I mean, I know it was for me when my ego got in the way, right? And like, hey, I hear feedback. I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't apply to this call, right? Lauren, yeah, good feedback, but inside my head, I'm going, oh, she doesn't know. She's not taking demos every day, right? Was there ever a time in your sales career where it wasn't that way, where you got feedback, obviously, from folks, but you're like, yeah, maybe.
I think like sometimes,
Yeah.
depending, but I feel like I've always been a very realistic person in the sense that if deals aren't closing, I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like I
Right.
versus being like, oh, it's just because it's Christmas or it's like December or like, well, they like whatever. Like I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And I want to know. Um, but like sometimes, yeah, like sometimes it can feel like I might know better or whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I want to close deals and I want to
Yeah.
be the best seller I can
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
So like tell me how. And but it also, yes, who the advice comes from definitely makes a big
Fair.
difference. Like for those who are actually like in the role, like
Hmm.
taking calls, like all of that, I think you seeing it work for them,
Yeah.
like 1000%, I'm like going to be way more open to receiving like feedback from
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
types of people.
So let me ask you a little bit on your LinkedIn presence here, because I think that has, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I think it's taken off in the past 18 months, 2 years. I don't know when I came across your stuff, but I think I came across a little bit of it and I was like, wait, that's interesting. Right. And I was like, hey, look, I want to, connect and just make sure I see more of your stuff. And I saw something, when you're at like 10,000 followers and hey, thank you so much. And now you're at like 18 and it's going like this.
Mhm.
How do you view LinkedIn? Is it just your personal journal? Is it something you use for like, hey, business development, and I'm here just to, kind of provide? Like, how do you
Mhm.
view it?
I wish I could use it for business development. But no, I think like a lot of people think that too, right? Because they're like, "Oh, like do you use it to like get leads?" And I'm like, I talk about sales and I sell to recruiters, which
Hmm. Yeah,
applies like
yep,
if you're doing business development, but
yep.
like I've sold to like marketing and restaurant owners. Like I've
Mhm.
switched ICPs so many
Yeah,
times that it's just like, no, it's not generating me any lead. Like maybe a couple here and there,
sure, sure,
because there is some overlap with recruiting and sales.
sure.
But no, I got started because my little brother posts on LinkedIn. He's pretty big on LinkedIn. And he was like, this was like years ago when I was at my first organization. He was like, oh, Lauren, you're really good at sales. Like, you need to start posting about sales. And he like kept
Mhm.
bugging me about it and bugging me about it. And
Mhm.
I was like, I'm gonna post on LinkedIn, Sam. Like, no, like I'm not gonna do that. Like, who's gonna listen to me?
Right.
And eventually he like kind of forced me to like write a couple posts and I sent it over and he was like, oh, this is actually good. Like you should definitely post this. Like I think he's expecting it to be bad. And I just started like I was posting. It was very like maybe like once every 2 weeks, once a month, like very kind of at random. Funny you ask. I really kind of got serious about it last December. I was like,
Okay.
okay, 2025 goal. I'm going to post at least once a week. I wanted to set a goal for myself that was like attainable. So I was like, I'm
Sure,
going to post
sure.
at least once a week. And if I post more, awesome. But like that way I'm not having to like
Hmm.
constantly worry about it. And I have maintained that goal, except for I think I missed 1 week in September. It was like crazy. I was like moving and selling my house, buying a house, just like had a lot going on. But besides that, I have posted. I've stayed true to myself, posting like 1 to 2 times per week and just kind of organically grown. But to answer your question, I don't have like a particular reason of like I'm not like, oh, it's for sales or oh,
Hmm.
it's for brand partnerships or starting my own business. Like I'm just kind of sharing my knowledge as I go, knowing that like creating that personal brand is going to help me in the long run and I can kind of take it whatever direction I want to.
Smart. I mean, if you're not following Lauren, I almost said Sam, by the way, because I find that historical that your brother got you into it. But
Oh
shout out
yeah.
to Sam. But I mean, I love the fact that you're like, hey, look, I'm just going to do it, and it's organic, and there's been some really posts that I just it sounds like it sounds like you're talking to us, not like it's written, if you know what I mean, right? It's your voice. You can almost, kind of hear it how it's written, which I find awesome. Um, a few last questions, and we'll kind of tie it up a little bit. But you've been, let's say in this environment for 5 years and doing this piece. What have you seen change over the years? What's changed for you in terms of either prospecting or how people make decisions, or just, from a holistic point of view, looking back on it when, Lauren started really selling to now, you've been successful all throughout, so you've adapted. What's been the change?
I don't have like, what's funny because so much has changed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I started selling, I've been doing tech sales for 3.5 years now, but I've sold across three different industries and
Yep.
ICPs. And so it's just like the way that I sold to restaurant owners is way different from marketers, which is way different from staffing and recruiting, which by the way is
Yep.
my favorite ICP.
There it is.
They're amazing. You worked in staffing and recruiting, so
I
there you go.
I
You
still
know
have that in
exactly
my
how it
heart.
is.
I still have so many friends in the industry, and I'm still just like, I think once you're in recruiting, you're always in it. You have this little like sick, thing in recruiting because it's a, like I came into tech sales and I laughed and I was like, oh, I only have one side of the equation to take care of. This is easy, right? Because
Mhm.
obviously with a hiring manager, and then you have a candidate. I mean, I have so many times I got my heart broken by the candidate going, I worked so hard to get the hiring manager involved, and here we are, and
Yeah.
you're going to turn down the best offer I've ever could have
Yeah.
gotten you, right? And
Now, were
that's
you working
okay.
a full desk?
Partially,
Okay.
partially at times we had a split desk, but then really from the point of the first interview is when I took the candidate, right?
Okay.
So, I would get them, and then I'm walking them
But you're
through.
managing, yeah,
Yeah,
both
I'm managing
relationships.
expectations,
Mhm.
and I remember one I had to go, probably not the best story, but I got mad at one. I just broke my headset, snapped it.
Just snapped it.
I snapped it. I was like, well, I'm going to Best Buy. Walked out, took an early lunch, went to Best Buy, got a new headset, put it back on. And my boss is like, you all right? I was like, I'm good. Like, I'm good now. Like, take a nice hour and a half. Just went out to Best
Just
Buy,
needed a
walked around.
moment to just collect myself and
I
buy a
need,
new
that's the
headset.
only time. It's the only time I had it, and I still remember. I still remember the deal, and I still laugh about it. But hey, we all have those moments. But
Mhm.
um, let me ask you a question. Like a little bit, everybody goes back and forth on this. Video. Do you use video for follow up, like Loom video, or just on your phone, or like, what's your opinion on, or how much do you use video in your sales process?
I really never have.
Okay.
I occasionally send Loom videos after the demo if maybe somebody couldn't join and they want like
Yeah,
just a
yeah,
sneak peek of a part of it, or they want me to double down on something within the
yeah.
demo. But like, I mean, I've maybe sent like 10 to 12 Loom videos. Like it's not on a regular basis by any means. Like it's
Huh.
not like part of like
Yeah,
my
no, you're
how I
part of
close
your
deals.
it's part of
Yeah.
your process. Huh.
Hmm.
It's interesting. Like I think video is, it's like, I don't know if it's polarizing or what, but I've talked to people, oh my God, Dave, I love it. I'm sending video on my phone, and then I do, video on LinkedIn, and then I do a video on Loom, and I'm like, okay. And then I talk to some folks who have crazy success, just like
Hmm.
yourself, no video, right?
I think it also depends too, because I've seen a lot of back and forth about the video thing as well. But
Mm-hmm.
like I push for a very short sales cycle. And so
Mm-hmm.
like I'm pushing for like a one call close if I
Yeah.
can. And if not, like I'm like, all right, who else needs to be on this call? Like let's keep things moving. So I
I
think
would
that
love to see one of your demos. I would love to see one of your. I would love. That's what I need. I need to get some sort of where I have a guest and we bring up and we literally look at one of your demos and laugh about it, because it would be awesome to watch the last 10 minutes of that, just to see how you
it's
roll.
probably pretty like entertaining. I think like I'm a very direct person. I think like one thing is just like I think people would be like shocked sometimes by
Look,
the
it's
things that
work.
I just like
It's
say on
working.
my calls.
It's
But
it's working.
that's why it works because it's
I,
just like
look,
and
if
I'm being
you
genuine. Like I'm not like saying things that are just like not true. I'm
And
just
that's
like
the thing right there, right? You
mhm.
can be direct, but if you're genuine, you're okay. It's when you're
Yeah,
not,
totally.
it's when you're disingenuous, obviously, then we run
Hmm.
into trouble, right? All right,
Yeah.
let's wrap up. But I have a few things that I know you travel a lot. And by the
Hmm.
way, like, you got married in, is it France? Is that where you got married in?
Paris, yeah. Hmm.
Paris, right? I
Hmm.
saw that. I was like, oh, that's a cool destination wedding, right? I mean, okay, let's get,
Hmm.
let's go way away. So, favorite country to visit of all the spots you've been to, what are some favorite spots out there?
Yeah, we do a lot of traveling. Last year I was actually just telling somebody this. I didn't travel as much this year. I think we have like a lot going on. Started a new job, just like moving houses, just like family stuff. I don't know. But last year we went on 18 trips in 12 months. It was
18 trips.
wild. Yeah, we were
Were you
like,
working remote, like while you were like, were you working or did you just plan your PTO really good?
yeah, I mean, I had like unlimited PTO. I had unlimited PTO actually all last year. But like at two companies. And that's a different story for another day. I just like learned like how to hit my numbers so that
Yeah,
like I could
yeah.
just, take off the time that I wanted to be able to travel. And boy, did I take advantage of that. But back to your question, I guess it was, yeah, like 2 years ago, I went to Italy and I think that was my favorite spot. I love pizza and Italian food. And
Yes.
another kind of part of that equation is that I'm gluten free. But in Italy, I could like go crazy and eat like all the pizza and the pasta and like everything
Really?
because it's like just made differently.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so like I just thought it was beautiful. The people were awesome. We got to see a lot of like cool cities and places and just the food. I mean, I can't talk enough about the food, how good it was. I still think about it.
Well,
That's
damn, I need to.
probably like my favorite place so far.
Is there like a city that you point to in Italy and go, hey, if you're going to go to one spot, go here?
We really liked Sorrento. That was a
Oh,
lot of fun. Like it was a fun place. It was also really beautiful too. Like you could see like the water and just like, I
yeah.
mean, it's like on like the edge. Um, People would make fun of me for saying this, but I liked Rome. Like I thought Rome was cool. Everyone's like, it's so touristy, and like it is, but I thought the architecture was really neat. Like I've always seen like photos of this stuff. So I was like, wow, like I'm right in front of the Colosseum, just like cool things like
Right.
that. And there was just so much to see. Like we were only there for like, I think maybe 2 nights, maybe one night. And I was like, wow, I could have stayed here for like 3 full days at
That's
least.
cool.
So
That's cool.
that's probably what it'd be for me.
All right. Weekend guilty pleasure. Like, what do you got? Like, what's the weekend guilty pleasure? You're like, yeah, that's what I do on a weekend. I don't care what people think. I'm done. I'm doing,
I'm
I'm doing
done.
this I'm doing this. I don't give a damn what people think.
Oh my gosh, I should have had an answer prepared for this. Like,
Yeah, I think this is the question I throw at you and
I wish
go,
I
I'm
had
not
something
telling you.
cool. I wish I had something cool to say, but
Uh,
like,
I mean, if you're not cool, it's fine, Lauren. I mean, big deal.
yeah, I mean, like, I'm not, and so,
Look, I think you
okay, my
got.
guilty pleasure. Okay, like, this is one. Like, I love ice cream and dessert, and like,
Is there gluten-free ice cream out there? Like, is that a thing, or is there gluten? Is there gluten? I don't
I
even know. Is
think
there gluten
most
in
ice
ice cream?
cream is. Like, I actually can't say for a fact, but I kind of assume like most ice cream is. I think if you add in like toppings like
Okay,
Oreos and stuff like that, it's like got gluten in it. But like generally speaking, like ice cream itself is usually gluten free.
we're good with there. Okay,
That would be, you said guilty, and I'm like, that's my
yeah,
guilty
that's
pleasure. Like,
fair.
I freaking love ice cream and dessert. Like, we always are going out for like, we eat ice cream. We eat dessert every night, by the way. And, like, we like to like go out. Like, we'll like drive 30 minutes across town to like try some ice cream spots. We also do fun, cool things like going out for like dinner and drinks. But like,
Yeah,
I feel
like
like the dessert thing is kind of something that's
I
like,
feel like a Blizzard smoothie from
oh,
like Dairy Queen would be like a prime spot. Like, just give me
well,
that.
it's stuff like that. Like, we would go to like Dairy Queen and we'll like drive across town to like somewhere to get like a frozen custard, like some
Okay.
new ice cream shop or whatever just opened
I feel
up,
like it's
right?
very bougie for you. I feel like that's got to go like a special spot. I'm more of Dairy Queen. Give me a
Just
drive-through Dairy Queen, and I'm
you're
all
like
in.
picking up like the McDonald's like ice cream.
Yes, like give me like look. I'm not fancy. Just give me like
I
I'm
guess
down
I
with.
would say like I'm kind of dessert bougie. Like I want to
Yeah,
go
I
to
could
like
sense that.
yeah, I want to
I
go
could
to like
sense that.
we would even go out just to like a restaurant and get dessert if
Sure.
it was like somewhere noteworthy, but usually restaurants don't have the best dessert. Hint.
There you
Yeah,
go.
you got to go to like a bakery or like somewhere legit. And like
I
I
feel
can
like I
eat a lot
learned a
of
lot on
dessert.
this
I
last
can eat
couple of
a
minutes. I
lot of
feel like I
dessert
learned a
too.
lot. These last couple of minutes, I feel like I understand. That's my best question. All right.
Yeah.
Well, look, we're right at 33. I thank you so much for doing this. I know, like, we were like, how do we squeeze this in? It's December and we're both in that. So thank you so much for this. Like, this is really good. I'm excited to see, honestly, just more stuff from you. I hope you post more. I really do. I think your stuff's great. And I really want to just see, you know, heck, where you travel next to, right? 18 times in 12 months is phenomenal. That is like,
I don't
right.
think I'll do
That's, I mean, that's a whole
that.
nother thing, but that is so good. So,
Yeah.
Lauren, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate you having me. It's a good time.
It's great. All right, everybody. It's January. All right. I promise we're going to do once a week, but thank you for being with us. Take care, everybody.